and welcome to this episode of Curious Creatures Drawing Workshop. This episode's prompts have been submitted by Yanuli, and we are going to do a creature made up of a cat, a dog, an elephant, with one leg, 6 eyes, a small nose, that lives in deep bushes and has night vision. So I've picked a Norwegian forest cat, and you can pick any type of cat that you want, but I love their beautiful bushy tail and their thick fur. I've picked a dachshund because they are adorable, and an African elephant. So let's get drawing. So, as always, I'm going to start with a circle for the head. Now, because we are drawing a creature that only has one leg, I think I'm going to make it a creature that's going to be quite long. So I'm actually just going to make this creature a little bit smaller. Quite a long spine. And then we'll have here sort of a hip bone for the leg. And maybe some sort of tail like that. And I'm just going to flesh out the leg. So maybe it's going to be a sort of a foot that kind of hops. So it might need to be a bit bigger than this because of course it's going to have to take the whole weight of the body. So that's going to be our basic structure, and then we're going to flesh out the body. So let's say we've got our head up here, and we're going to put in maybe more of a sausage dog kind of structure. Maybe a long, thin body. It's going to come in here. Maybe we're going to have a combination of perhaps the dachshund's tail, which is nice and long and thin, and then maybe we're going to erupt into this big fluffy end bit right here. That could be fun. And maybe it will use its tail to counterbalance as it's only got one leg. And perhaps an elephant foot could be interesting. Have that combination, so it's going to be a very solid foot. It's going to have maybe lots of wrinkles and very, very sturdy, very strong leg, something like that. And then the face. Now, do we have maybe kind of a muzzle? I can see a muzzle. Maybe we'll do sort of a dachshund muzzle here. But maybe we'll have some tusks. Yeah, let's add some tusks in. Add the tusks of an elephant in. Something like that. Maybe beautiful eyes of the dachshund, because they've got beautiful big eyes with some cat ears. Like that. It's a very interesting creature we've got going here, guys. All right. Let me lighten that up, and we are going to do our next pass. So we're going to put our details in now. So as I said, I've just lightened the opacity on this so we can see all the line work and then go over in more detail. So let's spend a bit of time on the eyes. The eyes are so important in our design. Really focus in on some of these beautiful details. So I'm drawing a lot of inspiration here from the dachshund. I'm going to come down and we'll do the nose, and I think we'll probably keep it consistent. Do a nice sort of dachshund nose as well. Get that nice, beautiful look and feel going. But perhaps maybe we'll add in some whiskers as well. So just some nice little short whiskers for the cat. And then we're going to add in some tusks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them almost like elongated canines, which I believe is technically what they are. So we'll just have them coming out like this. There we go. So I've just added in a bit of a bottom lip there as well, so that you can see they're coming out of the mouth. And then we'll come and we'll put some more details onto the ears. Now, as I said, we're going to make these cat ears. So I'm referring back to our Norwegian forest cat and the shape of the ears and the way they are kind of shaped and the way they form on the head. This beautiful, very light little curved section up the top, and they've got a lot of bit of hair coming out inside the ear. And then I'll just add in some, maybe a little bit of fur, just kind of coming down the neck section. And then we're going to go into this kind of middle section of the body. Now, because we don't have any arms, it's a very interesting design here. So we're just going to keep it nice, probably quite simple. So maybe some little fur elements, but overall we're not going to go too detailed in here because it's just going to be a nice, long, thin body. And then we're going to come up to this leg section. All right. So we are going to add in, as I said, maybe some wrinkly sections to show that it's definitely got a bit of weight to it, and a knee section. And then maybe form it a bit as an elephant foot. These beautiful big sort of almost more toenails and claws on the toes. With this pad down the back. So we can imagine that this creature, when it jumps, it really stamps down, and you get this very big impression of footprints down the back. She might add those in actually. And then this beautiful tail, which I'm just going to follow along with this shape. So we'll just get a little bit thinner as we go along. But then we're not going to end it in a point. What we're going to do is we're going to put in all of this beautiful, beautiful hair. So we'll just draw a few indications of that attaching. And you can be as creative as you like. This could be a big, bushy tail, or it could be very, very thin. You could be very precise with the hair. Just having a bit of fun, kind of curving it around like this. So this is going to be sort of reminiscent, as I said, of that beautiful Norwegian cat's big bushy tail. All right, I think that's the basics of our creature design. It's a very interesting creature, I must admit. So let's think about the environment. So has night vision. So potentially what we want to do is actually just make it almost like it's got a white glow. So you can see on the references that I gave you, there is a beautiful, let me just pull this up, a beautiful, beautiful picture on the top right hand of the Norwegian forest cat, or actually it's just a normal cat, at night. And you can see how the eyes glow almost as a solid white color. So that's kind of what I'm building in here. So it's going to be almost sort of luminescent and just have that kind of glow at night. And then we live deep in the bushes. So as I said, I'm thinking that maybe he's going to be a creature that hops. So I'm going to add in some kind of deep impressions, so you can see that when he's hopped quite heavily, and he kind of maybe sprays up a little bit of rock and soil around. And I'll just add in maybe this idea that just a little bit around his foot that he's kind of stamping in there at the moment. And then deep in the bushes, so we can add in some beautiful foliage in the background. So whatever kind of foliage you want, maybe think about what kind of bushes he lives in. Is it jungle bushes? Are they sort of more scrub, mallee? Maybe it's an imaginary planet, and so the bushes have this very different kind of life to them, perhaps. You know, so maybe it can be, maybe it's an alien planet where all the bushes have eyes and they watch you as you stomp past. I'm not sure. I kind of like that idea, so I think I'm going to add those in. So have a think about where your creature might live. As I said, deep in the bushes, so maybe it's the size of a small insect, and so it lives deep inside a bush, surrounded by all the leaves. So there's so many different ways you can consider this one and come up with lots of different ideas for how to interpret this brief. But I must admit, I quite like this idea of an intelligent plant that has a life of its own. Maybe I'm going to have it looking at it. Because who doesn't want to have a plant that's going to look at you and question you? Where are you going? What's going on? And maybe there's some fuzzy little bushes that maybe move around or something, or I don't know. Have some fun. See what you can come up with for your take on deep in the bushes. And perhaps if I wanted to draw this one up a little bit further, because of course it's night vision, you might want to draw it at night. So I would probably put in a dark background. Maybe there'd be a moon shining to show that it's nighttime. But see what you guys come up with. Very excited to see what you guys create. And of course, guys, I've just realized, what was I thinking? We have to have 6 eyes as well as our small nose. So as I've said, I've already kind of taken this creature into a sort of an alien world. So I might add in these kind of stalk-like projections on his head, which kind of sits well then with the idea of doing these plants. So that potentially gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side, and maybe we'll draw a smaller eye up the top here as well. So therefore we would have the same on the other side. And I'll make sure that they all have that night vision kind of glow. So maybe there's a little bit of reflection going on. Wonderful. And a small nose. Now I think that's a reasonably small nose, but maybe we'll just make it a little bit smaller. I got too excited, guys. I went off the topics. All right, there we go. That's quite nice, a nice small nose. All right, that's it. So can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Now, as always, you guys can send your drawings to be featured in our online gallery. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with.